Hi, everyone. It's Terry Vanover with Choosing to Rise. So, tonight we're going to be talking about annulments. What is an annulment? Is an annulment right for you? Can you get an annulment? And how does one go about getting an annulment? So, what is an annulment? How does it differ from divorce? So, we're going to talk about that topic tonight. I'm sure you're all out enjoying this fabulous weather because it's been months and months since we've seen sunshine or had any warmth in the Chicago area in so long. So I'm wishing you the best. And if you are needing some support and you're needing some help, reach out to me. I know many of you are struggling with the overwhelm that comes with divorce. You need resources. You need to have clarity so you're making the best financial and the best emotional decisions as you can as you're working through divorce. You want to develop clear and compelling goals as you transition into the next part of your life. So reach out to me because that's what I do. As a coach, I'm going to help you make the best decisions and help you be clear and really concise on what it is you want and help you develop ways to get there. So I'm Terry Vanover. You can reach me at terryvanover@comcast.net or go to choosingtorise.com for your free ebook, 7 Tips for Surviving Divorce. So maybe you've thought about doing an annulment. Maybe that was something that you thought, can I get an annulment? Well, it's actually, you probably guessed, it's pretty difficult to get an annulment. And so what is the difference between an annulment and just a traditional divorce? When you get a divorce, you're just separating in the marriage and the marriage is legally not binding anymore. What makes an annulment slightly different, if it's a civil annulment, it's a form of relief for situations where someone should never have been married in the first place. Perhaps if there was fraud involved. So you can only get an annulment in kind of an extreme case. So, and if you can prove it, of course, right? If you can prove it in a court of law, that's how you can get an annulment so that your marriage never took place to begin with. So let's talk about some ways that you can get an annulment for legally. So for example, if your spouse had committed fraud on you, perhaps they told you the wrong name or the wrong age, if there was some kind of extenuating circumstances and you can prove it, or if that person is already married, that would be fraud. So you would want the marriage annulled, and a court would look at that perhaps and say, okay, yeah, we can annul this marriage. Concealment, again, it's that whole fraud thing. If someone was a felon and didn't tell that to their spouse and they didn't know that they were marrying someone who had, some kind of felony conviction. If there's impotency or incest, if you find out later that you're related, that'd be terrible. But if it happens, you can get that marriage annulled instead of a divorce. And if someone was forced into marriage, perhaps they were underage or there was not the consent, they were perhaps drunk when they got married or under the influence when they got married, so therefore that might be a case for getting that marriage legally annulled. So there are some extenuating circumstances. It does happen. It is rare, but if you can prove it in a court of law, they will look at. So those are some of the reasons that you can get an annulment. So let's look at a religious annulment. So I know many of you, I had on the Facebook on my business page, some people kind of responded to the religious annulments. So was I talking about religious or was I talking about a legal annulment? I'm actually referring to both. So when can you get a religious annulment? So in the Catholic Church, it's not done by a court of law. It would actually be done by a tribunal. So it's a process where there had to have been some kind of lack from the beginning. And again, you'd have to have both parties, if they can show grounds, adequate grounds, such as, again, fraud, dishonesty, maybe there was some emotional instability in one of the partners and the other partner didn't accept it, then there might be a tribunal might grant an annulment so therefore that person can remarry in the Catholic Church. And usually people who are Catholic, if they want to remarry again, they want to seek an annulment. So those are some ways that that explains what the difference is between annulment and traditional divorce. And if you have any questions about that, it's you can seek out help from an attorney if you feel like you've been if your spouse has been dishonest or there's some extenuating circumstance. You could always check it out with an attorney, ask if they have a complimentary session for you, and see if your case would fall under the legal definition in your state. And again, it varies from state to state, so that's another circumstance that you have to keep in mind when you are seeking an annulment. It depends on the state that you live in. So it was great talking with you. I am Terry Vanover. I'm the Bounce Back Diva. So if you are ready to ignite your life, set a purpose, overcome what is setting you back, maybe you're feeling stuck, maybe you're done with the shame and the guilt and the bitterness that is accompanying your divorce, then you reach out to me at terryvanover@comcast.net or go to choosingtorise.com, and I'll be happy to help you with that. We can discuss how to move you forward. All right, thank you.